Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Now, this specific video is about an incident that took place on Friday, September 20th, 2024, in which a preacher man called Patrick Smith was apparently taken off a bus by the driver because he was disturbing people who were traveling on that bus. I am not quite sure what specifically had led to this incident, but there have been lots of bloggers who have covered this. Probably every blogger seemed to have covered the issue. And all had covered it from one specific standpoint. But there is one specific angle from which nobody is looking. And that makes all of them a big bunch of hypocrites. And I stand by that, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly why I say that. And if you can pick through what I say and tell me where I am wrong, I'm quite prepared to accept it. Just leave it in the comment section after listening the entire video. You can't listen piece of my video and then come off with what you feel like come off with and then come make an opinion based on an entire dissertation. You can't do that. So if you're gonna comment, at least watch the entire video, or else you will not know exactly where I'm coming from or what led me to the conclusion that I reached. But before I get into the specifics, I need to say this. On this channel, I do not say what people like to hear. I simply speak the truth. You want to like it, you like it. I'm not here for anybody to like me. I'm here to enlighten people, to get people to think. And to think critically, to wake people up, to lead them on a path to true power. So, for those of you who will be tormented by the facts that I proliferate, this is the time to switch to another channel, because what I'm about to say is definitely not for you. It's for people who care about the truth. Because you see, we as human beings, we don't like truth. We love to pretend that we do, but we actually don't. We like the lies that pleases us. Any lie that makes us feel comfortable, that is the one we are quite prepared to settle with. And as I've always said in previous videos, the two greatest deceivers are the pastors and the politicians. And I stand by that, and I can prove that. But there is one individual who is even more deceptive than even the pastors and the politicians. I know who that is. You, yourself. People love to lie to themselves. Yes, the ultimate deceiver to you is you. And in order to reinforce the lie that we love, we often surround ourselves with people who are deceiving themselves just as well, so that they can help to reinforce the delusion that we live in. Now guys, I'm not just saying that, I'm not going on a different topic, What I'm doing is to set you up for what I'm about to say regarding that pastor who was put off a bus and who ended up dead, beaten, burnt alive. But I had to lay a foundation for what you're about to hear. And I can predict something from now. The biggest supporters of my views on this video are going to come from the United Kingdom, because they seem to have the biggest set of black people who have woken up. Big up London and surroundings. And of course, big up Trinidad and Tobago. I have a few fans in Trinidad and Tobago, and I love you. Also, if you're from anywhere else in the Caribbean, even if you're still living in that Caribbean island, your origin is in the Caribbean, but you're living in another country, big up yourself, tell me where you come from, and just say one Caribbean. Anyway, now let me get to the story. And for you people who live overseas, let me tell you what happened, because you might not be aware. Everybody in Jamaica is aware of it. So it is this. On Friday the 20th of September 2024, a gentleman, a preacher known as Patrick Smith, who is a resident of Old Brighton in Portmore, St. Catherine, was on a JUTC public transport bus preaching. Now, this is something that preachers, that men have always gone on buses. They start, especially Portmore buses and Spanish Town buses. In fact, I've never really seen this done on any other route except Spanish Town and Portmore buses. Anyway, while the bus traveled from Kingston and head over to Portmore or Spanish Town, somewhere there, for whatever reason, he was put off the bus by the driver. I have yet to understand what happened there, because under normal circumstances, that would never have happened. The section where he was put off was at a place called Bernard Lodge, or it was along the main road to Bernard Lodge, which that road leads somewhere between the Spanish Town and Portmore. The video in the background will give you an idea as to what Bernard Lodge main road looks like. It's a fairly lonely stretch of road, but it does have some communities along it, especially closer to the Portmore area. So at least this would give you a rough idea. But what I'm saying also is that something radical would have had to have happened for him to be let off there, so. And for the entire passengers, or majority of the passengers on the transport, to agree to it. Because there would have had to be a certain amount of acquiescence or deliberate cooperation or coercion with the driver to do this. The driver couldn't just do this on his own. I know that. Anyway, after he was put off that bus, he was pounced upon and attacked by a group of residents of the nearby community, and he was beaten, and he was lit a fire alive. Tires were thrown at him, and he was burnt to death. Now, a lot of people have been coming out and saying the driver is at fault, because the driver should not have put him off at that point. And the driver should have found a safe place to put him off. Oh, but the question is, safe place like where? This is like 11 o'clock in the morning, broad daylight. What safer place could that be? First of all, me no know of anybody and young people anywhere near Bernard Lodge. I don't know of the people living in and around Bernard Lodge being savages. And I've never heard of that area even have anything like a crime rate. So where could have been safer? If him did put him off in the middle of Cherry Gardens and them do it, them would have said you should have found a safe place. Anyway, everybody at Cha iron pan this issue. And here is why I say every blogger who covered this cover it the wrong way are a bunch of big blasted bunch of hypocrite. I'm going to tell you why. Nobody, none of them had stated that it was illegal to preach on JUTC buses, and that it had been illegal to disturb the peace on buses and disturb passengers with that loud noise, and it has been so from 2012. So 12 years ago, this was banned, and this gentleman was still doing it. I go further to say this. From the day it was banned, the very next day, every single preacher man was dep on bus a preach same way until today day. Even though it was banned, it was against the law. And even though the Bible says that you should obey your earthly masters, preachers think that they have a right to go against the laws. They can break the law as much as them feel. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to say that I am saying that because him break the law by preaching on the bus, him deserve to dead or deserve to be put off at that point. I never said that, and I'm not implied that, and I don't mean that. Okay? Let me get that straight. But the fact that everybody choose to not mention that mean you are a hypocrite. Now, here I'm going now to the crux of the matter. This man, let's assume he's a holy man and he's spreading the word of the Lord. In other words, him depend God business. Now, if him depend God business and him get put off at Bernard Lodge, well, before we even go into that, we have to approach the big elephant in the room, and I'm not afraid to point out the elephant in the room where everybody are trying to ignore. Me address the smaller elephant, the little rhino, which says that the man was doing something illegal. Now, let me go beyond that and go to the crux. This man doing the Lord's work. Before him go out that morning, God couldn't want him and say, brethren, no go on the bus there, you know. On my road, I go preach, me I go protect you. The good Lord don't show him nothing. No, the good Lord, watch him get put off of the bus. Watch people surround him. Watch people beat the sickness. As a matter of fact, I heard he was shot in the neck, but the autopsy will tell us. God watched them torture the man, beat the man, put tie upon him. I heard that he was even put in a cage. A little fowl could them get and put him in there and throw tie upon him and burn him. And the dear sweet Lord, whose words he were preaching, never turned the black iron fat upon him. Now, make that make sense. Me know you can't face them reality there, you know. Because if you ask those questions, you couldn't stay in the same delusion that you are comfortable with. And you want to remain in your delusion because you want to deceive yourself. You are the greatest liar to yourself. Therefore, any truth that comes to light or look like it will wake you up out of your delusion, you're going to dismiss it. Just as how you're likely to unsubscribe to this channel for hearing me say these things. But if you're going to unsubscribe, please at least tell me how may you unsubscribe. Make me count on a half so I can say happy riddance. Because channel where truth happens is just not for you. No, but the question need to be asked by anybody who is willing to think critically. Why would a God turn up there or wherever him be and fold him hand and watch one of him disciple or somebody who has spread the word for him and watch him suffer such a horrific death? And I could go on about the many such horror stories where God stand up and watch, but I'll just mention my two favorite ones. Or should I say, the two that disgusts me more than any other. And that's 2-year-old Saraya Palwell, who, a jealous woman, plotted to take this baby and her mother away and kill them and burn their bodies. And even though we can say something about the mother, that God didn't even have the slightest compassion for a 2-year-old baby, and that God stood and watched a man play with the baby, nice and calm, and then slit that baby's throat. Why Christians don't want to address that? And if a Christian can come in the comment section and enlighten me. And of course, I have to mention 5-year-old Denise Salmon, who lived in New Haven, Kingston 20, and who was just laying down in her bed doing her homework and was shot dead by a bullet that came through the holes of her wall. And God never turned the black eye upon her neither. And for goodness sake, let us not forget Andrea Lowe Garwood, that bank lady who was sitting in church and worship the same God, and a gunman walking and just shoot her dead right in the church, and God fold him hand and still never turn the black eye in the eye. Now, you're telling me I'm not supposed to ask any question? Aren't we hypocrites? We refuse to engage critical thinking because we are afraid. We're afraid where critical thinking will lead us. Critical thinking will lead us away from the lies we keep telling ourselves, and we cannot do that. We want to keep deceiving ourselves, and it's only by rejecting logic, rational, common sense, reason, evidence, truths, and facts can we keep ourselves in that comfortable place. On the other hand, I don't care about being in a comfortable place. I just want the truth. And guys, if I'd said anything wrong here, please come and address the points I made and tell me where I am wrong in how I view things. I am quite prepared to respond to everything in kind which is set out in the comment section. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.